Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce. Investment management for your lifetime. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health, it's your health. Let's own it together. Bud Light, the world's famous light beer. Dilly Dilly. Doubletree by Hilton Akron Fairlawn, preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. By your Akron, Canton, Bryant heating and cooling dealers. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to week number 1 of Zips Basketball with head coach John Groce, brought to you all season long by the Wentz Financial Group. Well, the Zips right now are 6-3. They'll have a home game Saturday against Marshall at 2 o'clock. We'll talk about the Thundering Herd a little bit later, but Coach, off to a pretty good start, 6-3. What's been the strength of your basketball team thus far?
Defensively, for sure, Joe. I just feel like we've made so many strides in the right direction on that end of the floor from where we were last year to where we are now. We finished last in the league last year in defensive efficiency. We're second as of the last 24 hours. We've been going back and forth between second and third, with Buffalo being at the top of the league defensively. So, that, as you know, Joe, that gives you a chance every night. If you can defend and rebound, you have a shot to be competitive no matter who you're playing or where you're playing them at. And so that's probably the thing I've taken away the most through the 9 games.
You know, you brought in, I think, 3 junior college players. Junior college basketball, not known for defense. It's an up-and-down game. But I'm guessing you made sure those guys could play at the defensive end.
Well, they certainly have the capability to do that. Obviously, we recruited them certainly with that in mind. But it's taken them a little while, like any other newcomer, to learn our defense, learn the system, and start to develop the habits that are necessary to get stops. And like the rest of our players, I'll give those 3 guys credit. They pick things up fairly quickly, and they continue to get better. In large part, Joe, it's because they care about it, and they know we care about it. It's been a real pride point for us coming off of last year that we knew we had to improve defensively if we wanted to continue to build our program and head in the right direction. We had to attack that defensive end of the floor, and we've done that.
Let's take a look at some highlights for our first 3 games of the season. Akron with a 20-point win over Cedarville, 70-50. This was a close one for a while, Coach, and it kind of blew them out in the second half.
It was. First half was very competitive from a score standpoint. I thought we were better defensively than offensively, and then the second half we started clicking on all cylinders. Ball moved. Shot making was excellent. Guys played very unselfishly, and we had a really explosive second half offensively.
This is the first game for a lot of your newcomers, Coach, and I'm sure they want to make an impression on the Zip fans.
No doubt, and it's that first time where you're out there wearing that uniform in front of people in the stands, and I thought our guys handled that very well.
Let's move up to Cleveland now for the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. The 4 D1 schools in northeastern Ohio play each year. This year, Cleveland State was the host. You were matched up with Youngstown State, Coach. Pretty close game again in that first half.
It was, and we knew it was going to be a challenge due to their pressing and how physical they are, how great they are on the backboard, how hard Coach Calhoun's teams play, and I thought our guys really answered the bell. We had a great week of preparation that week with our practices. Guys were excited to play in the event. Thought we played, even to this juncture, maybe that second half could have been about as good a half as we played both offensively and defensively.
The Zips win that one 98-69. Again, the Coaches vs. Cancer, and I know that's a big one for you, Coach.
No, it's important, obviously. Anything we can do to contribute to the American Cancer Society's efforts to keep fighting cancer, it's something that's certainly impacted all of us, either directly or indirectly. For me, it's our family, my grandmother, my mom. My mom's a breast cancer survivor, so there's a little more to that one, certainly, that meets the eye for us. And we were certainly proud to play in it, and obviously really happy about the way that we played in the game.
Always great to open up in the tournament, and this year, as we said, it was against Youngstown State, a big 98-69 win as the 2 teams shake hands. And now was on to Chicago State, Coach, back home on campus. You win that one 87-46, but Chicago State, the game before this, had really taken Illinois State right down to the wire.
They had. It was a 6-point lead for Chicago State with 2 minutes to go on Bloomington Normal. That certainly got our guys' attention because we had great respect for Illinois State. We ended up playing them later, obviously in the Caymans, but we were really ready to roll in the Chicago State game. I thought, once again, our practices, our preparation, we were really dialed in. And very similar to the Cedarville game, Joe had a very explosive second half offensively. to work in concert with our defense that I thought played fairly well for 40 minutes.
So Daniel, you told me hitting a shot right there. When he's on, Coach, he can hit 5, 6, 7 in a row.
No, he can score in bunches at all different levels of the floor, and is a guy that's really continued to develop and improve over the course of my time here at Akron.
Of course, he is one of the returnees from last year, along with Jamon Ivey. So those two guys, coupled with the newcomers, Coach, a lot of potential in this basketball team.
No question about it. I think we have great upside. And although you look on our roster and you see a lot of juniors, seniors sprinkled in with sophomores, we are a team that's playing a lot of newcomers, either guys that had set out that are now eligible or guys that we recruited. And that connection, I think, where you're seeing that need the most improvement is on the offensive end, where we need to be more efficient. You know, I remember Stan Van Gundy said one time that sometimes offense takes a little longer than defense. Defense, you have 5 guys guarding a ball, and on offense, you have 5 guys playing with a ball.
Sure.
So that synchronization takes some time, and we're evolving on that end of the floor, and I'm confident that we'll improve and get better.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, a special feature here in week number 1 of Zips Basketball, John Groce. It's the E-Man, Emmanuel Pokey. We'll meet him right after this timeout.
The difference with Wentz Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie-cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
In the classroom.
On the track.
In the boardroom.
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Well, Zip fans calling the E-Man, and Coach, you met him for the first time last year, and he took over the coaching position here at the University of Akron. Little did you know that you would go back through a very traumatic experience with that young man.
No question. It was, obviously you don't plan on having one of your players have open heart surgery and go through what he went through in January. That was, put a lot of things in perspective. As we talked off the air, Joe, you have children, I have children, and the fact that he's still with us, and the doctors emphasize that when we see him, that how fortunate we are that he's still with us. So we'll start there, and then the basketball certainly is secondary, maybe even third down the line from that. But he's getting better. His health is great, which is such a blessing. Basketball-wise, we're working very hard, and he's working very hard to get himself back to where he was prior to the surgery. He's certainly heading that direction, and he's made a lot of strides, but still has a little ways to go, but we're just fortunate that he's out there with us playing for the Zips.
There you go. Right now, let's meet this special young man, Emmanuel Pokey.
Hello, I'm Emmanuel Pokey. I'm a junior from Houston, Texas, and I play in the front court here at University of Akron. Well, last year, it happened during Buffalo. I played Buffalo, and during, the stop, I couldn't see, so I knew something was wrong, and I subbed out the game. And after the game, I met with the doctors, and he told me something was wrong with my heart, and I had to have heart surgery. So we had heart surgery the same day, and I was out from the season, for the season.
My name is Mike White. I'm the athletic trainer with the men's basketball team. Coming into my second year, kind of oversee the daily operations and day-to-day activities and the overall health of the team. Fortunately for us, we have a pretty good plan in place as far as physicians on hand. It just so happens that Dr. Schaub is our cardiologist, and he's also a season ticket holder, so we were able to pull him out of the stands because we thought it was cardiac in nature. So we followed up with Dr. Schaub the next morning. It was a pretty fast-paced day. Started at 9 a.m. where they did an EKG, which that came back is relatively normal for an athletic individual. Decided to do an echocardiogram just to rule out anything else. And the echocardiogram is what appeared to show the fibroelastoma. And really all that was a growth on one of his heart valves. The issue with the fibroelastoma is that pieces of it were flaking off and kind of traveling throughout the body. So what we believe causes symptoms was a piece of that fibrin that it had gone up to his brain.
I didn't know if I could play or not at first, so mentally it was tough, but I tried to stay positive. After the surgery, the doctor told me if I don't have any diseases or anything like that, I could come back and play. So I got a lot of tests, and I was cleared for everything, and they told me I could play. So rehab-wise, I had to do a lot of chest rehab because my chest was broken. So when I did the little chest stretches and whatnot, that was the first step. And then I had to do cardio. My first step for cardio was walking around the hospital, and that was the toughest part. I was exhausted walking around the hospital. Then after I got out the hospital, my second step for cardio was walking around the gym. Of course, that was hard. And then walking upstairs, I couldn't do 10 at first, but I eventually progressed to about 3 flights of stairs, then 4 flights of stairs. Then after that, I started jogging. Then I got to running, and in about like a month or two, I got my first basketball workout.
What we're doing now, and this is just to make sure we're staying ahead of the game, is every 7 to 10 days we repeat an echocardiogram. So we'll go over to Summa Hospital and kind of go through that, and just to ensure that if there is something coming back or if there's anything that looks abnormal, not that we'd expect any of that, but just to make sure that we're keeping a close eye on it, especially as he's returned to competition. You know, really from there, it's going to be a bunch of communication. You know, every single day I check in with him, see how he's feeling as far as, you know, pain. There's certain things that I'm looking for that I don't tell him I'm looking for, but kind of just talk to him and see, you know, how he's feeling, how he's doing.
Being back on the court feels great, especially because I didn't know if I was going to be able to play again, because it was a long process getting back to play. So being on the court, hitting other people, dunking the ball, blocking shots, it feels great. I get excited to play every moment, even practice. So it feels great being back on the court. I'm real thankful to be back on the court.
Well, it's great to have the E-Man back in uniform. We're going to take a break and back with more University of Akron highlights right after this.
Sir Jeremy, you are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Madam Susan, you are an even truer friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. What is that?
This is a spiced honey mead wine that I have really been into lately.
Please follow Sir Brad. He's going to give you a private tour of the Pit of Misery.
I'm sorry, what? Pit of Misery, dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Here's to the friends you can always count on.
Roman was born with a hole in his heart. But thanks to the experts at Summa, who found the problem and fixed it quickly, he's feeling 26 again. Not 76. Minimally invasive heart procedures, many performed in under 2 hours. Summa Health, vital for getting back in the game and more.
Welcome back to Zips Basketball head coach John Groce. And Coach, let me thank you personally for scheduling that beautiful tournament in the Cayman Islands. That was special, wasn't it?
It really was. What a tremendous event. Great for our boosters, our donors, our families, staff, support staff, players. Just a great opportunity all the way around. And, you know, for me as the coach to play and to put our team in that event playing against that quality of competition this early in the season gives us a great barometer of where we are offensively, defensively, rotations, etc. And I think it's really going to accelerate our growth and development as a basketball team this year. I think we're going to look back and be very thankful and grateful for the opportunity to play in that event against that type of competition.
Clemson, one of the top teams in the country. Illinois State, outstanding program. St. Bonaventure, good program. You beat St. Bonaventure in a position to maybe win those other two.
No question we were. We were right there. Again, our defense is ahead of our offense at that point in the season as it is now. Offense is still climbing, but I thought we really, really competed. Guys were great in terms of preparation. You know how it was, Joe, sitting in those rooms with us. I mean, it's 24 hours game, 24 hours game, which is very much like a MAC tournament style.
Exactly.
So I thought it was great to be in that type of environment. Our players did a great job of being pros, and also balancing, enjoying the island.
Clemson had a big lead, Coach, and all of a sudden your team turned it on.
We did late, started turning them over. I thought our 1-3-1 was good at that juncture in the second half where it threw them out of rhythm a little bit. We were able to get some stops. We got out in transition, started putting points on the board, and really had an opportunity in what ended up being a one-possession game.
I talked to the Clemson radio broadcaster after the game, and he was sweating. He said, you guys really put a scare into us.
Yeah, obviously, and Brad and I are close. Brad Burnell's a terrific basketball coach, an even better person, and you know, obviously having a chance to compete against them gave us both the opportunity to discuss our teams afterwards and what we saw, and in an effort for both of us to get better. And I thought he had some good things certainly to say about our team, and we certainly have great respect for Clemson, and you know, I love Brad and his family.
You Indiana guys stick together, I guess, huh?
No, he's been through. I'm just pleased and so happy for him and Paula and their family in terms of what he's done there, the Sweet 16 appearance last year, and hope that they can continue to build on that.
Game 2 was Illinois State, coach, and he missed a 3 at the buzzer that was sent that into overtime, I think.
Well, we had a shot, we had a chance. We drew up a sideline out of bounds play for Ivy, and he got a pretty good look to tie it. We were right there, ended up losing the game by 5 points.
Of course, we beat St. Bonaventure 61-54. Then we come back home for 2 games with Alabama State and Detroit Mercy, 2 big wins.
Yeah, 2 home games coming off the Cayman Islands, and I thought we played really well in the Alabama State game. Detroit was a grinder.
Yeah.
We did not play great, but found the way to win, and sometimes you've got to do that. Credit our guys for really staying the course in that one and being really strong on the defensive end.
That got a little physical at the end, coach, but you guys hung tough with them.
We did, and their guard play, obviously, with Davis being the second leading scorer in the country, averaging nearly 30 points a game when we coming into the game, was a tough cover. I thought our team really stepped up to the challenge, and Jamon covered him quite a bit, as did Channel Banks. Those 2 guys did a great job in one-on-one coverage with tremendous support from their teammates.
Of course, you have done a great job in the second half, just about every game this year. Coach may fall behind, but your guys don't quit.
No, we fight. We even did that in our recent loss here, and that's a big difference from last year. I felt like at this time a year ago, we weren't quite ready to do that. Obviously, the last 10 games of year 1, we fought a lot more, played some really good basketball, but you know, this team has certainly is a very competitive team and has done a great job of finishing games in the second half. We've got to figure out, how to start a little bit better than what we started at this juncture.
I know you've challenged your team, coach, with some great competition. You still have some good teams left. You got to play out to Reno, to play Nevada, but you've certainly given this team the opportunity to get better before conference play.
No doubt about it. That was our thought process, certainly, in putting the schedule together. Home, away, neutral games, a blend of different styles, and we've been able to do that, and I think it's going to give us a chance to prepare ourselves for conference play starting in January.
I know the game with Nevada is going to be a big challenge, one of the top teams in the country. I think your team appreciates that challenge you give them.
They do. Right now, I want them focused on, first, final exams.
There you go.
Secondly, the Marshall Thundering Herd, because they're going to offer us enough of a challenge on Saturday.
Exactly. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to announce our Players of the Month, and a player that's really coming on strong, so don't go away. We're back after this timeout.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family cool this summer,
let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes H-Jacks Plumbing and Heating. Find them at hjacks.com.
The difference with Once Financial Group is that we do not have a cookie cutter answer to any of our clients' needs. Every day is completely different in the market, and every client situation is unique. We value the opportunity and responsibility to manage the hopes and dreams of our 3,000 customers nationwide.
Come see the difference Wentz Financial Group can make for your financial future. Wentz Financial Group. Investment management for your lifetime.
Okay, welcome back to Zips Basketball with head coach John Groce. Each week we're going to announce our player on the rise and our player of the week. But coach, a young man you brought in from Victory Rock Prep down in Florida, Long Beach State to transfer, Lauren Jackson at point guard. He's been special for you.
Christian's been terrific. When the ball is in his hands, Joe, I feel really comfortable and trust him. And that's certainly the best compliment I can give him. He's nearly 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Has a great understanding and feel for the game. Obviously I've had a chance over 25 years as an assistant and head coach to coach a lot of kids that were playing for coaches. They're coaches' sons, in other words. And he's no different. Just really knows the game, understands the game, knows what we want to do and what we need to get done out there.
Exactly. How about our player of the month, a young man Zip fans are very familiar with from Westside High School down in Houston, Texas, Daniel Utomi. He's had some big shooting nights for you.
He has, and the thing that I've been the most proud of Dan is his productivity on the defensive end of the floor, Joe. I mean, he's really changed a lot over the course of a year plus now to where he's truly become a two-way player. And defensively and offensively really adds value to our team in a multitude of ways. And we went to an honor system this year where we honor, what we call the gold standard. And it goes out each week based on practices and games. And Daniel has won that more than any player at this point, and deservedly so. And is off to a great start and certainly deserves the Player of the Month honor that we're giving out here.
Now, last year you were forced to play him inside, down low. He's more familiar and I think better facing the basket at that 3 and 4.
Yeah, his strength is his versatility for sure, both offensively and defensively. But you're right. If you had to pigeonhole him, Joe, in a perfect world, he's a big wing.
Congratulations to those two young men. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the Marshall Thundering Herd are coming to Akron 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. We're going to come back and talk about that game and more right after this.
The University of Akron is more than a college or campus.
It's a connection to the community.
To the thousands of opportunities right here in Northeast Ohio.
And to the partnerships with employers and organizations.
Like the LeBron James Family Foundation, where we connect kids to life-changing possibilities.
It's the strength of UA, this city, and these connections.
It's where students make an impact on their community and in the world.
While still making an impact
in the classroom,
on the track,
in the boardroom,
and in my community.
That's what makes us the University of Akron.
Sir Jeremy, you are a true friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Madam Susan, you are an even truer friend of the crown. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. What is that?
This is a spiced honey mead wine that I have really been into lately.
Please follow Sir Brad. He's going to give you a private tour of the Pit of Misery.
I'm sorry, what? Pit of Misery. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Here's to the friends you can always count on.
I hope you're making plans to be at Rhodes Arena on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock tip-off. Marshall comes to town, and Coach, what a year they had last year. They have a winning team this year. This is going to be a heck of a challenge.
Great challenge, especially on the defensive end. Last year when we played them in Huntington, we had no answer defending them. Got to be much better defensively. We're a different team, but, talk's cheap. You have to go out and sit down and guard, and so it really starts with our defense and defending in particular their two guards, which are as good as any backcourt nationally.
You're right.
With Elmore and Burks, those two guys are terrific. And they've got other really good players around them. And Dan always has a great scheme offensively. One of the things I think that allowed them to kind of push through last year is their defense grew and improved a little bit like we're trying to do with our team. And obviously ended up in the round of 32, defeating Wichita State, winning 25 games. Yep. A lot of those guys that were on that team are back. So it's going to be a great challenge, that's for sure, but one our guys are looking forward to.
They play in Conference USA preseason. They were picked number 2 in that league behind Western Kentucky. Good basketball league, and they're not sneaking up on anybody this year, but they're still a heck of a team.
No, they are. As I said earlier, especially on offense, they can put 100 on you really fast.
Yeah.
Starts with transition defense. You've got to get back. You've got to get your defense set, your ability to defend pick and rolls, your ability to make it difficult on Burks and Elmore to score and not let their other players get involved and be productive at a high level on that end of the floor. And then obviously you have to execute on offense. And, we're a work in progress on that end of the floor as we've talked about throughout the show. So, hopefully with this 10 days in between games, these practices that we've had have allowed us to not only prepare for the game, but to improve on both ends of the floor, but in particular offensively.
You mentioned their backcourt, Coach, and they're picked as the best backcourt in the league by Blue Ribbon Magazine. Elmore at 6'3", Burks at 6'4". That's a big backcourt.
Big backcourt, and those guys can really score the ball. I know Elmore is a 2,000-plus point college scorer and is really, really talented, has great vision, is a terrific passer, really knows how to play. And then Burks can score at a rapid pace and score in bunches. We were talking about Dan Utomi being able to do that, Joe.
Right.
Burks is very similar for them. So, we're excited about the challenge, looking forward to 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, and hope to get Zips Nation out there to support us and be ready to rock and roll at 2 o'clock.
Now, is this series with Marshall something you want to continue? Is this a final game in the series?
We'll certainly talk about it with them. We love playing in the series. I certainly don't want to put Dan on the spot, so we'll have to talk about it and see if it makes sense for them. But it's been a good series, and our guys have enjoyed competing in it, and hopefully so have theirs.
Coach, we'll see you at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. We hope to see you there. Also, big game against Marshall. For head coach, I'm Joe Dunn. We'll see you back here next week with more Zips basketball. Have a great week, everybody.
Wentz Financial Group presents Zips Basketball Weekly with John Groce. Investment management for your lifetime. Contributing sponsors include Summa Health, it's your health. Let's own it together. Bud Light, the world's famous light beer. Dilly Dilly. Doubletree by Hilton Akron Fairlawn, preferred hotel of Zips Athletics. By your Akron, Canton, Bryant heating and cooling dealers. And the Spaghetti Warehouse, famous for its 15-layer lasagna.